I've come out to the garden, but not to do any work or to hang out, but to observe, to take mental notes, and to prepare. I'm thinking about what I want from my garden in the coming months, and now's the perfect time, while the canvas is still bare. I'm not busy, and my mind is running wild with ideas. Last week, I took you around my front garden, so I've gone back into the archives and I wrestled up a few pictures of my back garden. Let's take a look, 6 years in my back garden in 15 minutes. Before my garden looked like this, it looks like this. My home and garden had been neglected and abandoned for over a decade. And I had the honor of restoring its beauty. I began building my garden by stacking up some of the refuse concrete in the back corner. To save money, I started flowers from seeds. It really didn't look much to begin with, but as the garden grew up around it, over time, and with a little bit of love and a little bit of labor, magic. As I grew in confidence and know-how, I expanded into the side yard, where there was enough light to grow vegetables. And one little corner garden became 2 little corner gardens. I resolved to create a garden oasis in my backyard that filled every little space with green and enveloped anyone who spent time back there, which seemed like such a daunting task at the beginning because I had been growing in my front yard, which was a flat, sunny space with a few wet areas here and there, but generally I knew what I was doing in the front yard. The backyard, however, remains more of an experimentation. But in the backyard, I have light, I have shade, I have moisture, I have dry, I have the retaining wall that dries out really quickly. So it was really a challenge, but it happened. My vision for this backyard space is constantly changing. I initially dreamt of a tea garden here in the shade. It's so interesting how my vision changes as I learn what's possible, given the conditions of my space. The north side of my garden is like a woodland oasis. And although it's not what I initially imagined, it's exactly what I needed. This project, like any gardening project really, has been slow going, trial and error process of trying to figure out what would thrive and what would struggle in different parts of my garden. And I'm still going through that process. I was storing all of my garden tools in the backyard in this giant pile, and I wanted my backyard to be a productive but beautiful space. I spent years piling things back here until finally I decided that it was time to take matters into my own hands to tidy things up. And that's when I got the idea to take the old deck boards from a decked renovation and turn them into a potting table and shelves to store my garden tools. What could be more rewarding than creating something from your very own hands? Now, I don't have a lot of construction experience, but I used to, when I was younger, help my dad with little projects around the house. And so I knew how to hammer a nail. I have a general idea of how to put things together, and so I just went for it, and I'm so glad I did. The scariest part was using the circular saw. It's super easy and it's kind of peaceful, just focusing on one cut at a time. If you've been following me for a little bit, then you might have seen the transformation of my front garden, which was such a lovely project for me. But this back garden gives me privacy and intimacy. When I'm spending time in my back garden, time and space seem to fall away. I can't tell that I'm in a big city. I can barely hear the sound of people, dogs, cars. It's just me and my garden and one simple, mundane, but important task. Like gathering plumes of grass for a dried flower bouquet. And allows me to flex my creative muscle, which is something that I didn't know I needed. And perhaps the best thing about my garden is that it provides a private sanctuary for me and for those that I love. Under layers of overgrown weeds, tree saplings, trash, and detritus, I unburied this gorgeous garden. Because as it comes to life, it sometimes feels like it was always here, just waiting waiting for someone to breathe life back into it. I've achieved my ultimate goal, which was creating a space where we could spend time. This outdoor dining table was created by a local carpenter, and today I'm using it to arrange beautiful flowers.
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of
I wanted a simple, rustic arbor on which to grow my grapevine, and I found this one at an antique market.
and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy we go.
I like how it creates a sense of place in my vegetable garden.
Tiptoes undercover, agents of the other.
But this year, milkweed started to self-seed all through the vegetable garden and all around my large vegetable planter. So I let it. I knew it would host a huge population of monarch butterfly. So I gave up vegetable gardening for the year.
We lose track of time, head up high, now we climb. Oh, dreamy, breezy we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover, agents of
One of my more challenging growing areas is this retaining wall that slopes at quite a steep degree. It dries out, but it is my view from my bedroom window. And so I do want it to be beautiful. So I grow hellebores here that flower in winter when it's too cold to go outside and admire the garden. I get to look out at their spaces. But not before I trim back the old leaves to allow the new leaves and flowers to emerge, leaving behind the new bright green soft growth. It's January and I've already got a bloom. The garden demands very little in winter, but I still need it. So it's nice to have these small tasks in winter and to be reminded of what's to come and where I've been. Let's take a step back.